The most dangerous conversation happening on this planet right now is not on social media, not in boardrooms, not in government chambers. The most dangerous conversation is the one taking place between your ears, the dialogue you are having with yourself at this very moment. And here is what most people do not understand. You have been talking to yourself your entire life using someone else's vocabulary. You have been narrating your existence with words that were never meant for your mouth, describing your potential with language borrowed from your limitations, and most tragically, you have been speaking to your future using the grammar of your past. For the next 3 days, I am going to interrupt that conversation. I am going to give you a new script, but not the kind you recite and forget. This is revelation, not motivation. Motivation is what you need when you do not know who you are. Revelation is what happens when the manufacturer reminds you what you were built to do. Let me submit to you a disturbing reality. The average person will repeat approximately 16,000 words to themselves every single day, and 90% of those words are identical to the words they spoke to themselves yesterday. You are running the same internal program, executing the same mental software, and wondering why your life keeps producing the same output. Where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable, and you have been abusing your own mind by feeding it the same poisonous narrative year after year. Your self-talk is not neutral. It is either building the future or reinforcing the prison. It is either activating dormant potential or sedating it into permanent sleep. And here is the part that should make you sit up straight. 3 days is not arbitrary. 3 days is the biblical principle of resurrection. Death had 3 days, then something buried came back to life. I am telling you that if you will discipline your inner dialogue for 72 hours, you will begin to experience the resurrection of the original you, the version of yourself that got buried under other people's opinions, buried under failure, buried under fear, buried under the need for approval. You do not need a miracle. You need a mirror. And the words you speak to yourself are that mirror. But most of you are looking into a distorted glass, repeating lies about yourself with such consistency that those lies have become your operating system. That ends today. The first lie you have been speaking to yourself is this: I am what happened to me. You have been identifying yourself by your biography when your manufacturer identifies you by your blueprint. This is critical. When Toyota builds a vehicle, that vehicle's identity is not determined by what happens to it on the road. If that car gets into an accident, develops mechanical problems, or sits unused in a garage for years, Toyota does not rewrite the manual. The manufacturer's specifications do not change based on the vehicle's experience. The car is what it was designed to be, regardless of its history. Yet, here you are, introducing yourself by your trauma, defining yourself by your divorce, explaining yourself through your bankruptcy, wearing your past like it is your name tag. You are not your history, you are your assignment. And when you talk to yourself, you need to speak from the future, not from the past. The second lie is the tyranny of comparison. You keep talking to yourself as if you are supposed to be someone else. You see another person's results and you speak defeat over your own progress. You look at their timeline and assassinate your own potential. Let me show you how ignorant this is. A seed does not apologize for not being a tree. The seed does not look at the tree and say, I am less than because I am still underground. The seed understands something most humans have forgotten. There is a process between potential and manifestation. And that process is not a problem to be solved. It is a design to be honored. When you compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20, you are violating the principle of original design. Every manufacturer builds their product with unique specifications. An apple tree does not compete with an orange tree because they were not designed to produce the same fruit. When you talk to yourself in comparative language, you abort your assignment before it even has time to develop. Stop speaking someone else's measurements over your life. The third lie might be the most insidious. I will do it when I feel like it. Your emotions have been holding your destiny hostage, and you have been negotiating with your feelings like they are in charge of your assignment. Let me submit to you that feelings are the worst dictators on the planet. Feelings will tell you to quit on the day before your breakthrough. Feelings will convince you that you are not ready when you are actually overqualified. Feelings will make you silent when you were designed to speak and make you speak when you were designed to listen. The kingdom principle is this: feelings follow action, they do not lead it. You do not wait until you feel confident to act confident. You act and confidence follows. You do not wait until you feel powerful to speak with authority. You speak with authority, and the feeling of power catches up. For 3 days, your assignment is to tell yourself the truth, regardless of how you feel, to speak your future into existence while your emotions are still living in yesterday. The fourth lie is perhaps the most expensive. I do not have what it takes. You have reduced your capacity to your current resources. You are looking at what is in your hand and concluding that it is not enough, never realizing that what is in your hand is never meant to be enough by itself. It is meant to be a seed. Everything in the kingdom operates on the seed principle. You do not need everything. You need something, and you need to know what to do with it. When you speak to yourself and say, I do not have enough education, enough money, enough connections, enough time, you are insulting the manufacturer who put that seed in your hand. Do you think the Creator gave you an assignment without also embedding the capacity to complete it? Your potential is not in what you possess. Your potential is in what you were designed to become. Stop talking to yourself like you are incomplete. You are not a finished product, but you are not insufficient either. You are in development, and development is not a deficit. The fifth lie is the illusion of someday. You have been speaking to yourself in future tense about things that require present tense activation. Someday I will start that business. Someday I will write that book. Someday I will have that conversation. Someday I will pursue that dream. Let me tell you what someday is. Someday is a graveyard. Someday is where assignments go to die. Someday is the language of people who mistake intention for action. Your manufacturer did not give you a someday assignment. He gave you a now assignment with an expiration date. Every seed has a season. Every gift has a window. Every calling has a due date. When you keep speaking someday into your atmosphere, you are actively postponing what was meant to be activated today. The most expensive words in the human language are, I will do it later, because later assumes you have unlimited time, and you do not. Now let me give you the principles that must govern your self-talk for the next 3 days. These are not suggestions. These are kingdom laws. And when you violate a law, you do not break the law breaks you. Principle number 1, you must speak to yourself as the manufacturer speaks to you, not as circumstances speak to you. Circumstances are temporary environments. The manufacturer's word is permanent truth. When God created you, he looked at the finished product, not the current process. He saw what you would become, not where you currently are. This is why his language about you has never changed. He has never revised his opinion, never downgraded his assessment, never lowered his expectations. But you have spent your entire life letting circumstances rewrite the manual. You got rejected, so you started calling yourself unqualified. You experienced failure, so you started introducing yourself as inadequate. You faced opposition, so you started describing yourself as incapable. For the next 3 days, I need you to speak to yourself the way the manufacturer speaks to you. You are able. You are equipped. You are designed for this. You are loaded with potential. You carry the solution. You are the answer to someone's problem. That is not positive thinking. That is accurate reporting. Principle number 2, your words are not describing your reality, they are creating it. This is the most violated principle in human existence. People think they are just reporting what is happening when they speak. They think their words are neutral observation tools. Let me destroy that illusion right now. Your tongue is not a thermometer. It is a thermostat. A thermometer measures the temperature. A thermostat sets it. When you speak to yourself, you are not measuring your life. You are setting the climate for your future. Words are containers. They carry either life or death, possibility or limitation, faith or fear. When you say to yourself, I always mess this up, you just set an appointment with failure. When you say, I never get opportunities like other people, you just lock the door on your next open door. When you say, this is just who I am, you just put a ceiling on your transformation. Your self-talk is legislative. It passes laws in your inner world that your outer world must obey. For 3 days, you are going to speak creation, not commentary. You are going to decree outcomes, not describe obstacles. Principle number 3, silence about your assignment is agreement with your opposition. Most of you have been silent about what you were born to do. You have not been declaring it, affirming it, speaking it into your atmosphere. You have been quiet, and your silence has given permission to every contrary voice. When you do not speak to yourself about your purpose, other people will speak to you about their opinion. When you do not declare your assignment, your limitations will declare themselves over you. The kingdom operates on the principle of declaration. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. That means if you are not speaking life, death is speaking by default. For the next 72 hours, I need you to break the silence. Talk to yourself about what you were born to do. Speak to yourself about the business you are going to build. Tell yourself about the book you are going to write. Declare to yourself the family you are going to restore. Announce to yourself the influence you are going to carry. If you will not say it, it will not say yes to you. Principle number 4, your self-talk must focus on identity, not activity. Most people speak to themselves about what they are doing. The kingdom teaches you to speak to yourself about who you are. Who you are will determine what you do, but what you do will never determine who you are. This is why Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness being tempted in his identity, not his activity. The enemy kept saying, if you are the Son of God, then do this. He was trying to make Jesus prove his identity through activity. Jesus refused. He responded from his identity, not from his circumstances. For 3 days, stop talking to yourself about your performance. Start talking to yourself about your design. Do not say, I need to work harder. Say, I am built for this, and my work is the overflow of my design. Do not say, I hope I can make it through this. Say, I am equipped to dominate this season because dominion is my original assignment. When you speak to yourself from identity, activity becomes effortless. When you speak to yourself about activity, you exhaust yourself trying to become who you already are. Principle number 5, what you permit in your vocabulary, you will experience in your reality. You have been giving permission to the wrong words. You have allowed phrases like, I cannot, I am not, it is impossible, I am too old, I am too young, I missed my chance to rent space in. It's your mouth. Every time you repeat those phrases, you are signing a lease agreement with limitation. For 3 days, you are going to evict those tenants. You are going to audit your vocabulary and cancel every phrase that contradicts your assignment. Here is how you know if a phrase needs to be removed. If you would not say it to your child, do not say it to yourself. If you would not speak it over someone you are mentoring, do not speak it over your own future. You are more valuable than the people you serve. Stop cursing yourself with casual language. Principle number 6. Repetition is not redundancy, it is reinforcement. You think you are being redundant when you say the same thing to yourself every day. You are not. You are installing new software. Your mind has been programmed through repetition. Every belief you have, every habit you carry, every pattern you repeat was installed through consistent repetition of words and experiences. If you want to reprogram your life, you must use the same method. For 3 days, you are going to sound like a broken record, and that is by design. You are going to say the same declarations every morning. You are going to speak the same truths every night. You are going to repeat yourself until the repetition becomes revelation, until the words move from your head to your heart, until the script becomes your natural language. Principle number 7, the goal is not to feel different. The goal is to speak differently until you become different. Feelings are lagging indicators. They report what was, not what is becoming. When you start speaking to yourself correctly, you will not feel it immediately. You will feel foolish. You will feel like you are lying. You will feel disconnected from your words. That feeling is proof that you are doing it right. You are introducing your mind to a new reality, and your mind is resisting because it prefers the familiar, even if the familiar is killing you. Keep speaking. Your feelings will catch up. Your emotions will align. Your circumstances will shift. But it starts with your mouth, not your mood. Let me tell you a story about a man who came to one of my sessions completely broken. He had lost his business, his marriage was falling apart, and he told me he woke up every morning with a sense of dread. I asked him a simple question. What is the first thing you say to yourself when you open your eyes? He said, usually something like, here we go again, or I do not know how I am going to make it through today. I told him, you are programming failure before your feet hit the floor. For the next 3 days, before you check your phone, before you think about your problems, I want you to say out loud, I am assigned to this day. Everything I need is already provided. I am moving forward, not backward. My latter will be greater than my former. He looked at me like I had given him a children's assignment, but he did it. 3 days later, he called me and said, I do not know what happened, but something shifted. I am seeing opportunities I did not see before. Conversations are opening up. I feel like I woke up from a fog. What happened? He changed the morning broadcast. He stopped announcing defeat and started declaring design. Here is another picture. Imagine a factory that produces cars. Every car comes off the assembly line with a quality control report attached. That report describes the car's specifications, its capacity, its purpose. Now imagine that after the car leaves the factory, someone switches the report. They attach a piece of paper that says this vehicle is unreliable. It has limited range. It cannot handle difficult terrain. The car has not changed. The manufacturer's design has not changed. But now the car is being identified by a false report. That is what you have been doing to yourself. The manufacturer gave you a report. It said you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are equipped. You are capable. You have purpose. You have potential. But somewhere along the way, someone switched your report. Maybe it was a parent who spoke limitation over you. Maybe it was a failure that convinced you that you were defective. Maybe it was a relationship that told you that you were not enough. And you have been carrying that false report around, reading it to yourself every single day. For 3 days, you are going to rip up the false report and read the manufacturer's original assessment. Here is the third story, and this one is critical. There was a season in my life when I was surrounded by voices telling me what I could not do. The voices were not malicious. They were protective. People who loved me were saying, "You are not qualified for that. You do not have the credentials. You are too young. You need more experience." And for a while I agreed with them. I repeated their concerns to myself. Maybe they are right. Maybe I am moving too fast. Maybe I should wait. But then I had a moment of clarity. I realized that those voices were not speaking from my manufacturer's manual. They were speaking from their own limitations. They were projecting their fears onto my future. So I made a decision. I stopped repeating their words and started speaking what the manufacturer said about me. Every morning I would say, "I am called. I am chosen. I am equipped. I have been given an assignment. And everything I need to complete it is already inside me." Within 6 months, doors opened that I could not have orchestrated. Within a year, I was operating in the exact space people said I was not ready for. What changed? My credentials did not change. My experience did not increase. My self-talk shifted, and my reality followed. Now, if you have been tracking with me, you might be starting to feel something. Maybe it is resistance. Maybe it is hope. Maybe it is anger at how long you have been speaking the wrong script. Whatever you are feeling, I need you to lean in right now, because this is where most people quit. They get revelation, they feel inspired for a moment, and then they go back to their routine and let the old program run again. I am not going to let that happen to you. I am interrupting your pattern. I am interfering with your normal. Because if you walk away from this moment and do not change your self-talk, you will still be having the same conversation with yourself. A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And that is a tragedy I refuse to co-sign. So here is what you are going to do. You are going to wake up, not metaphorically, literally. I need you to wake up to the sound of your own voice. For 3 days, the first sound you hear needs to be you speaking truth. Not you scrolling through other people's highlight reels, not you checking the news to see what is wrong with the world, not you rehearsing your to-do list. You are going to open your eyes and immediately begin talking to yourself. Here is your script. I am awake because I have an assignment today. I was not created by accident. I am not here to survive. I am here to dominate. This day is loaded with opportunity that has my name on it. I am not a victim of my circumstances. I am a solution carrier. I am moving forward. I am going higher. I refuse to live beneath my design. Say it out loud. I do not care if your spouse is sleeping next to you. I do not care if you feel ridiculous. Your breakthrough is on the other side of your willingness to sound foolish to your old self. Then you are going to remember. Most people spend their day accumulating new information when what they really need is to remember who they are. You have forgotten. You have been distracted by the noise. You have been hypnotized by the urgent. For 3 days, in the middle of your day, you are going to pause and you are going to speak remembrance over yourself. I remember that I am not ordinary. I remember that I carry purpose. I remember that I was designed to create, to build, to influence, to impact. I remember that failure is not my identity. It is my teacher. I remember that delay is not denial. It is development. I remember that I am not lacking. I am loaded. Set an alarm if you have to. Interrupt your own momentum and reset your narrative. Now you are going to decide. Decision is the hinge between your old life and your new life. You cannot drift into your destiny. You have to decide to pursue it. For 3 days, at the end of each day, you are going to make a declaration of decision. I decide that I will not waste another season speaking death over myself. I decide that my words will align with my assignment, not my limitations. I decide that I am done negotiating with fear. I decide that I will not delay what I was designed to activate today. I decide that my latter will be greater than my former, and I am stepping into it now. Decision is not emotion. Decision is the moment you stop considering and start committing. Finally, you are going to act. Revelation without action is entertainment. For 3 days, you are going to match your words with movement. Day 1. Write down 5 declarations about your identity and your assignment. Read them out loud 10 times before you go to bed. Day 2. Identify one area where you have been silent about your purpose and speak it out loud to someone you trust. Do not explain it. Do not apologize for it. Just declare it. Day 3, take one action toward your assignment that you have been postponing. It does not have to be massive. It has to be intentional. Make the phone call. Send the email. Start the project. Invest the money. Have the conversation. Your words have been preparing the atmosphere. Now your actions will occupy the space your words created. And here is what is going to happen. On day 1, you are going to feel resistance. Your old self is going to fight you. Your emotions are going to tell you this is not working. Ignore them. You are not looking for feelings. You are installing a new operating system. On day 2, you are going to notice something. Your thoughts will start to shift. Ideas you have not had in years will begin to surface. Clarity you have been praying for will begin to emerge. That is not coincidence. That is your mind responding to the new language. On day 3, you are going to experience acceleration. Things that have been stuck will start to move. Doors that have been closed will begin to crack open. People who have been distant will start to reconnect. Opportunities that seemed impossible will suddenly become available. This is not magic. This is kingdom principle. You change the broadcast, and the universe is responding to the new frequency. I decree over you right now that the next 72 hours will be a turning point. I declare that the conversation you have been having with yourself for years is being interrupted. I announce that you are about to recover the vocabulary of your original design. I mandate that your mouth will begin to speak life, vision, purpose, and power. I speak resurrection over every dream that died because you talked it to death. I call forth the business that you buried with the words, I am not ready. I activate the ministry you silenced with the phrase, who am I to do this? I release the book, the invention, the solution, the movement that you have been sitting on because you convinced yourself it was not valuable. Your self-talk has been sabotaging your assignment, but that ends today. You are not going back to the old script. You are not returning to the language of limitation. You are not giving your tongue permission to curse what God has blessed. For 3 days, you are going to sound different because you are becoming different. And after 3 days, you are not going to stop. You are going to realize that the way you talk to yourself is the most important conversation you will ever have, and you are going to guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Here is your action plan. Write it down. Day 1, morning declaration of identity. Midday remembrance. Evening decision. Nighttime repetition of written declarations. Day 2, same rhythm plus verbal declaration to one trusted person. Day 3, same rhythm plus one concrete action toward your assignment. After 3 days, establish this as your new normal. Make it your lifestyle. Teach it to your children. Model it in your workplace. Be original. You were not created to mimic someone else's vocabulary. Speak from your design, not from your comparison. Die empty. Do not take your words to the grave. Let them build something while you are here. The time is now, not someday. Not when you feel ready. Now, today, this moment. And if this resonated with you, if something in you woke up while you were reading this, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel because we are going to keep teaching you how to activate what the manufacturer put inside you. This is not the end. This is the beginning of you talking to yourself like someone who knows who they are, where they came from, and what they were born to do. Now go. Talk to yourself like this for 3 days and watch your life change.